right, are we getting power to the clutch? No, we're not. Oh, well, maybe that's why they didn't have the damn thing working. God damn volunteers. All right, so I didn't have a zip tie, so I have just wrapped the rest of that wire I used for the bypass around it. And take 3, I guess. Good gravy. All right, the rain's starting as is tradition. And of course, this is a spring-loaded choke. Cut the grass. God damn it. All right, so she's back in the garage and something is doing something very wrong. So you see this wire that I wire tied? It's supposed to be here and it's over there. I think the entire clutch body is spinning. I think it has detached itself from the frame. And it probably just snapped one of these wires. Fun. All right, so as suspected, here's the problem. Yeah, it ain't supposed to do that. It's supposed to kind of just sit here and do that. But it ain't doing that. So we're gonna have to figure out how to fix that. All right, so thankfully it appears that this butt connector pulled itself out of the harness, and so that is why the clutch didn't work, which is a good thing because that broke the connection before the wires snapped in half like spaghetti. So yeah, I'll have to try and plug that back in, and we will get in here with a big mallet or something because this is just literally welded to the frame, and we're going to have to bend that tab back up and bend this tab back up around this thing right here, which also needs to be bent. Wunderbar. Well, as I always say, when you have to resort to blacksmithing to fix your lawnmower, shit has gotten real. So I tried, oh wow, that is it's almost like I just put like 5,000 BTUs into that anvil. So the little tabs on the clutch, one side is broken off. Now, normally you would just be able to replace this part, but it's like a $350 part that I need to replace a $1 stamping on, which is press fit onto the mower, which is press fit onto the clutch. So anyway, we're not doing that. So I'm trying to hack together a fix to create a new little nubbins coming off of the frame, because the nubbins is welded to the frame, that will engage with what remains of the actual tabs on the clutch that keep the clutch engaged. So I have taken this paint roller here and I have flattened out one side into the shape I need because I did not have the appropriate metal stock lying around. And we are going to take this tab right here and we're going to bend, and I'm going to do this without touching it, hopefully. We're going to bend this right about here, that way, so that we have a little flat piece that comes out, dog legs over about 1/4 of an inch, and then comes right back down. And so that will mount directly, let me just show you. Greasy. So this whole flat thing, I'm going to mount with self-tappers to this guy right here, with just enough so that it sticks through and cuts this belt. But it'll basically run in this channel right here, come down, bend down just a skosh, and then come through this little nub right here, which is normally, there's normally supposed to be a little dingus that comes out of here, that sits in here, that this guy goes back and forth on. So I'm basically, because I snapped this off because it was completely folded over, I tried to bend it back, it got about 45 degrees and then snapped off. So I can no longer utilize anything above this to keep it engaged. So I need to use this actual magnet right here, just basically come down as tight into this channel as I possibly can and have something that I can bolt onto this. Now, if I could just weld, I would just lay a piece of bar stock right here, wire wheel this, and just weld that on there and be done with it. But I can't weld because I don't have the power outlet on this garage, or a welder, or the skills. So we will have a little piece of metal come down in here, bend over just a little bit, and stick down here and stick out just about this far. And so that will sit in here and keep this from moving back and forth. And so long as that doesn't shear off, we'll be good to go. All right, well, things went south very, very fast, very quickly. And this is currently what we've got going on, and it works for right now, and I have a feeling it will work for about 15 minutes before it breaks. Plan was to have 2 of these in here, but then we snapped a drill bit off inside of the hole when it was halfway drilled, flush with the thing, so there's zero way to get that out. I just didn't feel like drilling another hole, and I am on my last impact rated Phillips head bit. after shearing 2 other ones off, trying to drive one of these self-tappers in. So currently we have one self-tapper run all the way through everything. Thankfully the belt doesn't run on the back of that. And it is holding this slab of metal I had to blacksmith into this shape in between these nubs, which is keeping the clutch from turning in either direction, which is allowing it to do, you know, clutch-based things. It's supposed to be that bad. So that is on there, and then these 2 metal zip ties are just keeping it in place since I can't have a second bolt. And yeah. So we're just gonna hook this back up, test drive it, and see whether or not this grenades. And if it does, then we know that the clutch failed. And if the clutch failed, that would suck. Alright. Once more, same as Welp, that repair to the clutch lasted all of no fucking time. And usually ain't good. Oh, it's even melty. Well, my little metal thing's still there somehow, by some miracle, but it looks like I've sheared all the wires off and it busted through everything. Ah, so wonderful, great. Oh, well, it's 3:30 and I got 3 hours worth of work left to do, and I was going to save myself an hour cutting grass, so great. Looks like I'm going to be at work for another 60-hour work week. Again, 3rd week in a row. All right, so we've seen another hurricane and a bunch of other jazz, and I was just down here looking at this the other day, and as you can see, this harness has seen better days, but it's still intact. And if we look up in here, our little metal doohickey is still there, and it looks like both wires are still there. So, hopefully, I should be able to just wire a new lug onto that red wire and jigger that thing back up so my little metal bar is back in place, and then find some way to more permanently fix that other than zip ties. And we might just be back in business, so it may not be another Herculean effort, but I probably am going to need to drill another hole, put another self-tapper in there, or just call my cousin and tell him to come booger weld it. But we'll figure that out when we get there. But it's not all hope is not lost. All right, so it looks like we got pretty lucky, because here is the harness head, and it even still has the push-on wire lug on there, and so both wires are intact, and I still have one lug there. So all I have to do is pull that lug back out there, strip this wire a bit, crimp it back on there, have this on there, and we're good to go. Already put the loom shield back on there, and I also relined this back up and just hammered it back into place, and it looks like the 1/8 inch drill bit that I had in there that fell off isn't there anymore. So with that being said, I'm just going to run a little stubby self-tapper into there, and if that goes in and if that bites, then we're good as gold. We don't have to do anything else. So I'll see how many more Phillips head bits I break, but if we can get that back in, then that's it. Then we're good. I don't have to worry about anything else anymore. So I'm gonna shut up and do that. Alrighty, well, that appears to be doing something, so we will fix some wiring, put it back together, and hopefully we're laughing. Alrighty, well, that has been all re-harnessed back together, and this guy up here is staying together. I just ran the thing and tested it, and the clutch is clutching. So the only thing left to do is to throw the deck back on here and do a couple test cuts and see whether or not it breaks or not. I don't have super high hopes for that bolt up there, but as long as it stays in, everything will be fine. Well, I got underneath this thing and I played with all the wires and I rearranged them again, and everything seems fine. And there was one little squishy spot in the wire, and I looked at that and it was still fine. And then I just went and tested it again. I looked down here, and the cogged intermittent belt was spinning just fine. And the reason why it's not running is because for whatever reason the deck belt is sacked out. So I think this thing just popped off of an idler. And that's all it is. Ow, sticker. I think the Lord let Satan make one plant, and that was the one he did. And good Lord, it was a banger, if you're Satan. So, oh yeah, I mean, that'll do it. I mean, the thing's barely on here. It's almost like the tensioner's not tensioning. Well, anyway, I assume this must have popped off one of the idler pulleys, so I gotta clean all this shit off of here and find it. Check back with you in a second. Alrighty, she jumped off and under this idler right here, so once more, same as before. Well, cuts grass. What more can I ask for? All right, well, that's a little redneck jury rig. Well, a lot of redneck jury rig. Just ignore the whole mower. But we're back in action, so we've got that clutch repaired now twice. But it should be good now, at least for another 5 hours until I break it again. But anyway, I digress. I'm gonna end the video here unless I break it again, and then it will just hard cut right now, future Tom. But anyway, since it didn't, that means that the video is over. So thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I'm so glad to have this mower back up and running so I can stick the volunteers on it so they can cut grass so I don't gotta. Because Lord knows I don't cut my own grass. Why am I gonna cut somebody else's? But anywho, if you like this kind of stuff, consider giving the video a like, comment. Tell me if you've got a better solution for fixing that peg that holds the clutch in place. I'd like to hear about it. And if you want to see me do more work to this here John Deere, or that Husqvarna, or that boat, or that John Deere, or that Kawasaki mule that moonlights as a John Deere because someone must have been embarrassed because they painted it green, or that Yazoo, or that Evinrude, or any of this other garbage that lives in my yard, you gotta subscribe. So smash the gray button down there. Until next time, I'm out.